Hello and welcome to Jesus for Asia Now. I'm Natalie Wood and my husband John is here with me today. Hello, love.
Hi, darling.
So we're going to the Philippines today.
We are, yes.
So where in the Philippines are we going?
A very unique place. So the Philippines has 7,500 islands. Okay. And the big island in the south is called Mindanao.
Okay.
And the southwest corner of that island is the Zamboanga Peninsula Mission.
Okay.
ZPM. And off the tail end of that peninsula is a bunch of islands. And the farthest island is like a 3.5-hour boat ride to Malaysia.
Okay.
The Malaysian part of the island of Borneo.
Okay.
So it's way out on the tips.
Okay.
We've shared about those islands before, specifically the Tawi-Tawi Island.
Right.
The Zamboanga Peninsula Mission includes the land side and all the islands.
So we're talking about Bible workers from there today.
Yes, we have Bible workers down there.
Okay.
And these are special because I met Pastor Rani many years ago. He heads up the Adventist-Muslim relation work in that area and has had great success in how to connect with the Muslims. They're our closest world religion than any other world religion. You've got Hindus, which do not recognize anything in the Bible. You've got Buddhists that also do not recognize the Bible. But Muslims recognize Abraham as our father. And Allah is the God of Abraham. And so there's connections there. Now what's interesting is the Adventists have a little more of an inroad with the Muslims than other Christians because Muslims are very strong against eating pork.
Right.
And we don't eat pork.
Right.
And we don't worship idols.
Right.
And so the Sulads, which is a group of volunteer missionaries, have been going into this area for quite some time. But it came to the point where they needed pastors.
Right.
And it's a very poor mission, so they appealed to Jesus for Asia to sponsor some pastors.
So we have a video?
We have several videos. I got to say that this video is focused on a unreached people group. Okay. So it's not necessarily a specific religion. It's just a different people group. And this people group has very unique characteristics about it.
Okay.
You know, and it's really hard to talk to them. Even though they understand the national language a little bit, it's really hard to reach them unless, and they have very unique customs to themselves. And so our pastor is actually from this people group. And so that's how he's able to go in and work with them and tell them about Jesus so easily and so well is because he's the only pastor from that group. And so this is a little bit of his story.
Okay.
The Chavacano speaking people have their own culture, and if you don't know the culture, the gospel can't penetrate.
Formerly the Chavacano group is a language group which are basically animists also. Some of them have been converted to Christianity by way of Catholicism, but the majority of the Chavacano are basically animists.
And even the Chavacano, it's also another challenge because they have about or 1 million of Chavacano where we have only one Chavacano pastor that is working in their communities.
Seventh-day Adventists have reached many Chavacano people. Some of them, especially the first converts, understand the Cebuano language. But the recent converts speak only Chavacano and they cannot understand Cebuano. Our hymnal and Bible are in Cebuano, and they can't understand that.
We are gaining grounds because they've seen the Adventist faith, and so many of them have converted to Adventism. That's why we have 7 congregations, in various places, 7 different areas. And we only have one worker, one JFA worker to shepherd those.
My purpose is to reach out to the Chavacano people. This is why I studied theology. Pastor Fernando told me to take the theology course at Mountain View College because we have many people to reach out to in Zamboanga.
Unfortunately, we have one graduate from theology who is a pure Chavacano. Somehow he was able to go to school in spite of the poorness. He has become a working student, and so we decided that we would hire him to take care, because since he's a ministerial graduate, so we asked that we hire him under JFA to take care of the Chavacano group.
Kung dunay mo sponsors,
If there are sponsors, if there are people who want to reach the Chavacano, we have plenty of ministries we want to do, but we need financial help for these activities. That is one area where we are lacking.
Why only one? We don't have the funds.
This is a really beautiful opportunity where we have a place where there's believers that can do the work. They just don't have the funds to go and do it. You know, like gasoline to get there, vehicles, you know, materials to share, that kind of thing. And then
a way to pay to live.
Yeah, eat.
Yeah, for food and for housing or whatever.
Right. And then we have the believers in the Western world that have funds that for a very small monthly cost can support somebody full-time over there.
Right.
$150 is what they make there. This is what this pastor makes.
Right.
For the majority of us in the Western world, you know, $150 is something that we could handle.
And even if we can't pay the whole 150, God adds our 10 or our 20 or whatever it is to the other 10s and 20s, and He makes up the difference.
Absolutely.
God always provides for His workers, but it's such a privilege that it isn't a huge amount, and many people can be involved in sponsoring them.
And this is what drives the growth of the gospel. It's the local churches that are established, and they have the pastors. If we just leave it there, then it stays the same over the 10, 20 years. It will grow locally, but these new areas, the new people groups, new regions, new islands, you know, those won't be reached by the local church. It's as we send funds to workers that are willing to go. And thankfully, and you know, there's a lot of places in the world that there is no workers.
Right, there's nobody local that could go.
Exactly.
So thankfully, he at least was able to go to college and become a ministerial graduate.
Yeah.
And so that we could sponsor him to be a pastor there.
Yeah, so these places where there are already believers that are willing to go, and that's an opportunity.
Right.
So we're just so thankful that we have several workers now that are being sponsored, and there's more available.
Right.
If we had more funds to send them.
So what's our next video?
This is a Bible worker in the island of Basilan.
Okay.
Okay.
wala kayo gi
They rarely send missionaries here because it is far and dangerous.
70% ang Muslim gyud dinhi, and then 30% ang variety of Christian, but Muslims have different tribes. Here, one of the native gyud dinhi nga tribe is ang Yakan, and kailangan siya nimo hunahon paunsa gyud ka mag-reach out sa ilaha. It's not a typical place ba where you have to deal with Christians who believe God or Jesus. Here, you have to break pag the barriers. It's not really your religion you are carrying, but it's the love of God. When they will see that, that's the time that they will, you know, be friends with you. So the most important kind of missionary that we're doing here really is friendship ministry. That's really how we reach the Muslim people.
Sumatomi sa mga islands.
We go to islands, we feed people, and give school supplies to the children, especially to the Samal tribe.
Mga samal. Na lang diha sa mga 30 mil.
There was only about $500 to $600 provided for evangelism.
We have to go through like medical mission, medical outreach, feeding, and stuff like that before we can win their confidence. But like Jesus said in the Bible, that we have to feed their needs and nice, and then we have to win their confidence, and then you can minister to them.
We make
bridges, not walls.
walls.
It's 1993, I think, or 1994. That was the last time they sent us missionaries, but we would really feel grateful. You know, personally, I would really feel grateful if they will send more missionaries. I think there's nothing wrong with the young people here who are very supportive, who are very zealous, or very passionate. But if we receive kanang mga missionaries, then they can also educate the young people here Like, murag sila ang mag-train po sa young people to be missionaries. I've been praying this for like 10 years already, but when you pray, God has His own timeline. Para lang good madali ang buhat din sa Basilan so that, Jesus will come na ba? Jesus can come quickly if we will really help each other in the finishing of His work.
So here we have a couple that are working there all alone on that entire island, and the burden of the work is heavy on their hearts.
Yeah, it sounds like there's, you have to pray your way through how to reach the people there. There's a lot of opportunity, but there's also a lot of, thoughtfulness in the work.
Yeah.
So this next video is more about the same couple that we just saw.
Okay.
I am a registered nurse, a nurse by profession. I graduated in Mountain View College 2008. And I made a promise to God nga if makapasar ko og board exam, I will be a missionary for life. But I forgot about my promise yun. But God called me again. 2011, I joined 1000 Missionary Movement. I was sent to South Korea. After how many years, I went back here, my hometown, and then I suddenly realized I've been going to other countries, to other provinces, but I never really served here gid sa Basilan. So that really, I believe it was God telling me and impressing my heart nga serve your own island gid sa. So after I married, my husband also is a missionary. We decided nga dinhi sa gid mi mag-serve.
Challenging kayo diri siya sa atong mga ministry sa atong buhat.
This is challenging for ministry and for our work. The problem is because this place is so far from the mainland. It is a very critical place. The culture here is very strict when it comes to Christianity and the Muslim culture.
Christianity og sa
It's not a very conducive place to do missionary, but I always believe in that saying that there's no bad mission field for good missionaries. And I'm just thankful sa Ginoo because the moment we arrived here last year to serve, God has been blessing us so much. And we realized there's really a big work to do here. And I was born here for that very divine reason. And that is to share His love sa mga katao yun na ako nga mga Basileños. One of our vision is to have a center for influence din sa Basilan. It's very difficult to reach out to them and do Bible study. So the only way is either we can have a school, because it is really our dream to have an Adventist school here, or a center for influence so that we can do like maybe healthy products. That's what we are promoting here, healthy products and healthy living, or healthy in a restaurant, because that's the only way we can link our beliefs to the Muslim brethren.
So here's a lady that graduated as a nurse, and she's working as a Bible worker for $150 a month.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, she really cares though. You can see, you can hear it in her voice that she really cares about her people.
Yes.
And that's such a beautiful thing.
And she's being creative. She's thinking of ways to really reach them.
Yeah.
A school or a center of influence or a restaurant.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what she could accomplish in Christ with a tool like that?
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be amazing. It'd be worth it.
Right.
Even for one soul.
Right.
So we've got to find a way to help her.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need to pray for the right open doors, for the right timing in the right place, because, you know, location is everything with restaurants and different things like that, center of influence, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, and the relationships around that need to be right.
Right.
Yeah,
but
God knows.
God has to lead,
yes,
for sure.
You know, sometimes I think we think that we just send the money and then Bible work automatically happens. And I think we forget the human cost of taking the gospel to people. that don't know him. This next video is about a young man who in 2006 was given a life sentence, saying, I don't know what kind of disease he had. He doesn't say, but he said that he was given 10 years to live. Right. And so he decided that he might as well live for the Lord.
Right.
And that 10 years ran out in 2016. Right. And he's still serving the Lord. And so you can see the burden that he carries when he talks about it.
So let's play that video now.
Okay.
I was sick and I was told that I would die just the same if I went home. There were big changes in my body due to disease. Because of life's challenges, there seemed to be no more hope. If I had gone back to my home, I would have died anyway. I was told that I would die within 10 years. In 2006, I should have been dead, but I was still alive. So, I said to myself that I could use my life to serve God. I wondered why 2016 came and nothing had happened to me. 2021 came, but still nothing had happened. That is why, in my experience of being sickly, I have no other ambition but to serve God and Him only, before I leave this earthly life. I decided to settle down and my wife joined me as a missionary. This work is not easy at all. Bringing the gospel to other people is not my talent, because I am not qualified, but I was called to the work of God. Even if you are not qualified, He will qualify you. I am waiting for 2026, the 20th year of the announced end of my life, because of my sickness.
2026.
I am observing if my body weakens or not. I am wondering when I will be leaving this life. I am only hopeful that God will sustain me in this work. I have pledged that, as long as God gives me breath, I will continue to do this work. I am not after the stipend I receive. I do this for the love of the work, for many people still needs to know the truth. I have dedicated my all to God, and I am staying a missionary.
Oh, isn't that powerful?
It is, and to think that he, was expecting to die any time, and he's just like, you know what, I might as well serve God with the time I have left.
Yeah.
And he's just serving God, and he doesn't share what's wrong, but he just shares that he's got a burden that God gave him, and he's got life, and as long as he has life, he's going to be serving God.
Right.
Which is so beautiful.
It's a very beautiful way to spend your life, even if it's short, in God's service. That's probably why he's still alive.
Yeah, we've seen that recently with some of our Bible workers in India. They have cancer and God extends their life.
Right.
Or completely cures them, or, whatever God chooses at the time, but gives them time to keep working with people.
Absolutely.
So that's beautiful.
Yeah. So this next video that we have is the same young man talking about his work.
I have been close-minded in reaching or getting acquainted with Muslim people. That is why it's been tough for me in the past, like climbing a mountain. It isn't easy. It's a real challenge, especially in this area. I felt scared and angry because of my previous experiences with them. This area is scary. Many people from different religions were killed in this area. But we learned that there is a way to reach them through friendship. And we can befriend them through health outreach. We can enter their homes. It's not easy to be accepted in their homes if you don't get close to them. But if they find out that you are kind, they will welcome you.
I could not walk, urinate, or defecate. It is tough. My niece brought me this guy who gave me herbal medicine.
How many months have you been lying down?
It has been 8 months, but now I'm able to walk.
They know that we are Adventists. I didn't hide anything from them regarding my identity.
Wala ko gitago. Ako Adventist ko.
Salamat kayo po.
I am thankful. I thank God and the people here.
Gikan sa Ginoo andun sa inyo, akong pasalamat kayo.
Praise be to Allah because you are here to visit me.
Alhamdulillah gyud kay na mo diri nagbisita sa ako.
Kini nga buhat.
This work is not just a job, but a profession motivated by love.
Nga dunay gugma sa atong
Love for the people in need.
nagkinahanglan.
Many people are in remote areas that we haven't visited yet.
Wa masuroy wala mabisitahe.
They are waiting.
Nagpaabot sila.
Waiting for the people who will give them the message.
Dunay mensahe maabot nila kay kana mao man gyud ang ato gid silang maabot. Pinaagid sa ato ang
Our mission is to reach them.
Wow.
It's just really neat to see that kind of dedication.
Yeah, and the vision for the people that have not yet been reached.
Yeah.
And so this next video is about the director of overall this work, Pastor Rani De Vera. Several years ago, he had requested for a 4x4 vehicle that he could travel around and visit the different places that he has Bible workers and pastors and in schools and things like that, student missionaries. And so we spent some time telling people here in America about the need, and praise God, people gave and provided him an old used four-wheel drive pickup truck. And so this video is about him driving that truck and telling about it and thanking us for it.
Okay.
This territory of ours under the Zamboanga Peninsula Mission covers 5 provinces. Most of them are mountainous areas and the roads are terrible. At many times passable only by motorcycle and so muddy and steep. Therefore, it is a necessity for a 4x4 vehicle to visit these places. Our missionaries and volunteers are scattered all over these mountainous areas, and the only way to visit them is to go there. There is not even signal for cell phone because of remoteness of areas. So the only way is to visit them periodically, to see how they are, and to obtain the reports. And so a 4x4 vehicle is of great necessity. And I am very thankful that Jesus for Asia has extended their help to provide one. So thank you very much, Jesus for Asia team, for providing a vehicle which will be used for the ministry and for the glory of God. God bless you all.
Usually that thing's packed out with people and young people, older people going to mission posts or carrying books or evangelistic equipment to do an evangelistic series. And the recent report I get from there is that it's being borrowed by a lot of pastors in the mission, because most of them don't have the four-wheel drive capability, but most of the roads out in, especially out in the mountains and stuff, you can only get there by four-wheel drive. You saw how crazy those roads are.
Yeah.
And they're actually saying another one would be a very nice addition.
Okay, so they're requesting another one.
Yeah, now that one cost about $12,000 to buy. It was used and they've had to do some repairs on it and everything, but it's being used and it will be used to the max.
Right.
In fact, they've had to replace their tires already on it. It was down to the metal ply.
Oy.
After only about a year and a half of use. So it's being very well used, and you can see how mountainous those roads are.
Yeah, and there's mountains inside the roads too. It's
Yeah.
like all the dips and everything they were going over was very, very bumpy.
Yeah, and that was shot in the dry season.
Yeah.
In the rainy season, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Wow.
So we're praying that we can get them another vehicle up there.
Yeah.
Because that just enables so much more ministry.
Yeah, to give them the tools to enable them, to enable the workers.
Right.
You know, they are support for so many missionaries, pastors, local people.
In our future shows, we'll be talking about the same area, but talking about the need for church buildings.
Okay.
Because it wasn't mentioned in these videos. You hear the Bible workers in these videos talking about the burden that they have for the people, but they haven't mentioned the successes that they've had.
Okay.
This is an exploding field it's a vibrant, growing. I was called on a video call one night. For me, it was early morning. For them, like 4 o'clock in the morning, they were eating breakfast. And this was like 60 college-age kids volunteering to go as missionaries for the year. It was their launching. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. They were eating breakfast to go be launched into volunteer work among the islands, the dangerous place. These are dangerous places. There's some, I say, you know, I haven't been down there because they said if I come, I'll need a bodyguard. I'll need armed escort, you know. And so this is not like, hey, come have a
vacation on the island. No.
Right. It's let's go and let's bring the gospel to people that are dying without it.
Well, and that's an interesting point because, you know, they're going and they know that it's dangerous, but they're going.
Yes.
Because God has given them a burden for the lost.
Yes.
Because they know that He's called them.
Yes.
And therefore they're in His hands.
Right.
And that's where our safety is.
Yeah, and we think about safety in this life.
True.
But this life is pretty inconsequential compared to the next life.
Yeah.
No matter how long we live in this life, it'll never compare to the life that's coming.
True.
So using this life that we've been given to invest in the future life is really smart thinking.
And even more importantly, in the future lives of others.
Yes.
You know, like how many people can we drag into the kingdom with us? Not kicking and screaming, but
happily
bringing them.
Right. Yeah. And that's our investment. See, because when we get to heaven, the relationships that we formed here that end up with them being in heaven, that's going to be our reward. That's going to be our great, obviously next to seeing Jesus.
Right.
You know, obviously. But it's those relationships. There, you know, can you imagine when they come to you and say, hey, I was in the library and I saw that it was your donation that enabled that Bible worker to come to my door and offer prayer, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
It's like, what kind of friendship are you going to have?
For eternity.
Absolutely. And that's exactly the teaching that Jesus had in Luke 16, verse 9, where He says, make to yourselves friends of the unrighteous mammon. This is our true investment.
Right. This is awesome.
Yes, and we can do it now.
Yeah. I would like to invite you to be a part of this amazing ministry by praying for these Bible workers and for the young people that will be going as student missionaries to these areas. If you would like to be involved, please contact us at Jesus for Asia, P.O. Box 1221, Collegedale, Tennessee 37315. Call us at 423-413-7321 or visit our website at jesusforasia.org. May God richly bless you until we see you next time on Jesus for Asia Now.